What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Um, Today we just kept it really simple. I was thinking about trading in New York session since I had today off from work, but the setup that I was looking at just wasn't really good, so I just ended up locking my account until 8 o'clock tonight. And we're done early today, which is really nice. I can play some video games, I can watch basketball. I don't have to stress about trading for tonight. Really good win today as well. We traded well and we traded small, we traded light, and we stuck to the strengths of our strategy, right? Our strategy is we lose small, we win big, and that is exactly what happened today. And let's go through it together. You can see it's still flushing too. I still could have held some, right? But my original stop loss was up here. It wouldn't have tagged it. I could have continued to hold. But anyway, let's go through the trades. So let me see if I can put my executions on so we can see. And if we come back here, you can see. So originally I took a loss, right? So I took a loss here. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like my top step is kind of weird because it says +2. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's actually correct. So I added one contract here. So first, let's look at the bias. Let me start over. So here we have our volume profile set. I can even set a replay too, so we can come back to what we're looking for, right? So let's actually set it right here. Usually about 750 is when I start coming into the charts. I start setting up my volume profile. And I just kind of start looking to see. But I locked my account out until 8 o'clock today, right? So you can see here we had a break here at 7:30 and we came back up, right? So we're clearly bearish on the day, right? In this session, right? We are holding some bullish momentum, but we're still bearish. That's the only way I should trade until we start breaking these highs here that were set around 450 until the end of the session until 6 o'clock, right? But we did gap down. We filled the gap, but we continue lower, right? So no signs of a push yet. High volume at 7:30. I don't know if there was news or anything like that, but high red volume 7:30. So we break one. I'm not even looking at the charts then, no. I don't come in to the charts until here, right? Until this candle here, and we break. I'm like, no, my account is locked until 8 o'clock, but I was like, I don't trade until 8 anyway, so even if it does happen a little bit early for me, I just got to be comfortable missing out on the move. And I think that's something that I've been getting back to these last few days or so. Just being comfortable missing setups. Like tomorrow night, I'm going out with some of my best friends, and I told them I got to be home by 8. I didn't tell them I'm trading, but I told them I got to be home by 8 because I got to go to sleep early. But in reality, it's because I'm trading. Um, but I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I have time with my best friends. I haven't seen them in quite some time. Like, why am I gonna rush to get back home just so I can trade? Like there will always be setups. There's always setups. We literally get paid to wait for a setup, and I got paid today waiting for my setup. So first we took a loss though, right? So we broke, and you can see here now it's about to be 8 o'clock. This next candle is 8 o'clock. So huge red hammer. My goal was for it to come back into this zone, right? Which it did very quickly. Insane, right? Low green volume, high green body, right? So that's obviously a divergence. If you know volume price analysis by Anna Hilling, that's clearly like the amount of effort put into this green candle does not represent what it's actually showing, meaning that you have such a large green body candle here but low volume. So to me, I always say it's fake. It's fake. It doesn't mean that it's fake, right? Because price is the most important indicator. A lot of times people don't even realize that price is the indicator itself, but price is the most important indicator. The next, in my opinion, I know other people differ, but the next important indicator you can have is volume. If price does not match volume as it did here, then that's telling me, huh, that's a little bit weird. Then right after, boom, it shot down, red volume higher than the last one. It didn't completely engulf it, but it did wick down below it and came back up. So to me, I was like, that's literally what we want. We have our N. Me and my girlfriend, we talked about it. It's the N strategy, where if we're going, this is the reverse N though. You break the zone, you come back up, and then you start showing signs of coming down. So here we broke it, we came back up, and then we're starting to show signs of coming down. I entered a bit earlier than what I wanted. I had a limit sell here. My price was like 2012, I think, 20012, and I just kind of entered, so I got in for 10.75, and I added another contract too. My stop loss I was at the top of this red body candle, right? Because like I don't need to have my stop all the way at this pivot point. I can, but for me, I'm like that's good enough for me to lose and be like fine, right? And it was only like $30 for those two contracts, and as you can see, we were stopped out, right? Fine. Once that happened and we had such huge volume to the upside, I was like, well, maybe I can start switching my bias. My weakness to my strategy are reversals. I think I've spoken about this quite a few times now. But reversals are my weakness. So if it's reversing, I'm not going to be dumb and do what I did like I did yesterday. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for these highs to break, come back down, again, the end setup, come back down into the zone or close to that zone, and then show a bullish reaction higher. So I was like, okay, fine. If that's what's happening, that's fine. I'll just set my alerts again and I'll come back. I set my alert down here because I'm like, if we break that zone again, then we'll see what happens. But if we break here, then we know that we're switching our bias. But instead, we shot back down. Huge red candle coming up, if it wants to happen. Boom. And that's where I was like, okay, we are actually bearish. High volume, higher volume than these green candles here. We rejected point of control, so that's picture perfect as well. And we're breaking the zone again. My zone has not changed yet, right? My zones are still the same. It's perfect. So now I clicked limit sell and I didn't realize it was on 12. I actually wanted it to come back up to 15 or so before I got in, which it did. So I'm like, I got in slightly too early. But this is the perfect candle that you want to see after the fact. You break, you come back into that zone, but you reject. Green candle, but it's low volume. It's perfect. It's a really good setup. This was like an A to A plus setup. And you start getting some higher volume, but you set your stop. So now my stop loss is up here. I think I only added one contract at that time because we were waiting, right? We were literally waiting to see what happened. So only added one there. Again, 2012. I just kept it on there for whatever reason. But then here, you can see I added like crazy here and here, these candles, because I'm like, okay, quickly rejecting high volume. We're targeting, to me, I wanted it to come down to 82, which you can see, um, that's literally what happened, right? So for me, I got out 10 contracts at 82. We had a total of 14 contracts, because we added on confirmation that we're heading higher. This red high volume candle right there was perfect. So added there, added more here, really good stuff. We continued to go lower, added a couple more, right? My target was 82. Why was it 82? Because I knew that if you came down on the 1 minute, you can see here, this is, I think it was earlier today. Yeah, this is earlier today. You can see that we wanted to come back down to these levels. This is the 86 level here, and then this is the 80 level. So for me, I always like to have my limits, my take profit just a little bit below those even number levels, right? Because a lot of times what will happen is you'll get down here. So you can see here, this hit, oh wait, no, it's coming up. You'll see we have a green hammer that occurs, right? So we take profits coming up soon. You see that green hammer? Where did it go? The low was 80.75. If you were targeting 80, you would have missed it, right? So I always like to do a little bit higher. This time I did 82. I was thinking 84 at first, but I was like, no, like let me go 82. When this candle happened here, I was like, man, I don't know if I wanna. I'm like, I don't know if I want to hold. That's a green candle. It's a doji. Have some nightmares about reversal dojis, right? Indecision candles that end up reversing the other way. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I told myself, hold, right? We are holding. We're taking off 10 contracts at 82, and then the rest will leave. We'll just put our stop loss right below. or right above this red candle here. And if it hits, it hits. I don't care. And it did end up hitting on this candle. I think it was that candle. Yeah, it did end up hitting on that candle as well. So took our take profit and I immediately locked my account. And I kind of had a feeling too that what would happen is that was the first break. I always like to get it on that first break because there's tons of momentum there. Once you start getting into the second and third breaks, right, there's less momentum and there's less follow through. I still feel like we can head lower here, right? And as you can see, we covered, right? They covered their positions. And they covered their positions. But then as soon as you start getting to this value area low area, and then the zone also shifts down slightly as well. I'd put my zone here now, right? That one can stay up, that's fine. Right, so now we're kind of closer to the zone. This is where we broke, right? And boom, you start having some flushing happening again. So it's like that could have been another good entry point here with your stop loss at the top of where you initially broke into the zone. But I like to get those initial moves because that's where the most of the power is, and I can add extremely quickly and then end up taking profit. So again, really good trade, $419. Um, Ever since I locked in yesterday after that crazy trade that I took, I just feel more comfortable now. Like a lot of times in our lives, we have tons of self-doubt, you know? And when things aren't going our way, we start to lose confidence. We lack the confidence that we need to be able to take our trades, or not even trades, just in life in general, to be able to do the things that we want to do or the things that we feel like we should be doing, right? And it happens all the time. It's like, oh, I don't feel, confident doing this, or, for myself, I've gained some weight. And I would say that part of it is stress, but part of it is just me not eating well, not doing the right things. And it's like, oh no, like I'm fat now, like I've gained some weight, you don't feel like going out as much anymore. You don't feel like seeing people, you feel like people are going to judge you and things like that. But it's like, you have to get to a point where you accept yourself, right? Where you're at. You might not like where you're at right now, but you have to accept yourself for where you're at and you have to be okay with where you're at while you're working as hard as you can to progress to where you want to go, right? You have to be able to do those things. And for me, with my trading, I'm blaming my funded futures a lot here, but they have nothing to do with it. It's just I decided to gamble on their prop firm. But ever since I started doing that, I had this irrational sense of like, oh, I can just make money whenever. I could do whatever, because I was up $1,200 on the account, just kind of messing about, right? And I was like, I can do it whenever I want. But obviously, I blew the account, and all of those bad tendencies led to me losing that confidence that I had before, right? And I passed my combine in 10 days. I was just following my process. Yeah, I blew the account before, but every trade that I took that followed my process, most of it won, So it's like, why am I getting to a point where I start doing something different? Because I want to rush the process, right? But by me doing that and me losing and me not doing so well anymore, I started losing confidence in myself, right? Until yesterday, I can't believe I'm saying this, but until yesterday when I won that trade, I was like, my system doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. I can't do it anymore, right? But how could I ever say that when most of the trades that I have taken that are my system have worked? Most of the trades that I have taken that weren't my system have failed. So it's like, how can you say that? It's because I had some losing happening that told me that, oh, you're not a good trader. Oh, your system doesn't really work. You're just getting lucky and things like that. When that's clearly not the case, you know? So I really want you guys to understand that you guys have to continuously have the confidence in yourself to do what you want to do in life, right? Whether it's trading or whether it's going for something that, people don't believe that you can do. But I feel like as long as you have a good process in terms of what you want to do, and you just maximize the potential of that process, you will get to wherever you want to go. You will be able to do what you want to do. So, that's my little stoic rant for today. Anyway, good trade today. Great follow up from yesterday too. I really hope that you guys are having a good week so far. It's really nice for myself to be able to bounce back like this too. I'm trying to celebrate the small wins and, my account balance being at $100 yesterday to now being at $900 today and close to that first milestone of 1,000 is honestly a really great thing for me to celebrate. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, my goal is to get it up to 1,000. We celebrate. I think once we get our next $200 winning day as well, um, once we get our next $200 winning day, that's when we're able to be eligible for our first ever payout, which is insane. Last time I got to this position, I was one day away from a payout, just like now as well. And the account balance was up to $1,500, and we blew it, right? I didn't really have a good strategy at the time. That was back in February, but now I feel like I have really good risk management. Today the loss was like $30, which is really good, right? You lost $30 to make $420. Like that's amazing. Um, so I feel like we're in a much better spot now. I feel like we're doing a much better job and we're risking well and we're having proper risk management again. We're just being more confident. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of where we're at. This is the highest the account balance has been, which is really good. And then the combines are also doing really well too. I think this is the one that I made. Yeah, this is the one that I made $199 yesterday due to some slippage, which I'll gladly take. Um, so in terms of the highest account balance for the combines, we were officially halfway there, which is really cool. I think the other ones are halfway there too. Yeah, the other ones are halfway there. It's not that much of a difference. So, yeah, so for this one, the lowest one, we're halfway there as well. So halfway there to passing our counts. That's super exciting as well. I think my rebuild date is the 17th, I believe, on Saturday. Again, I don't really care, right? If I have to pay $200 to rebuild those while I still have all of my accounts, I'll gladly do it, right? We just need to trade well, focus on the process, and see how far it can take us, because I really do believe that my first payout is coming soon, and I really do believe that a $2,000 payout and then a $10,000 payout after that is coming soon too. Um, so yeah, I still haven't figured out how I'm gonna do it though. I might, once I get to that point, we'll get to that point, but I might get the express up to 2,500, right? Because I believe that since we're halfway there now, once we get this up to about 2,500, all of these other accounts will be passed. So if we do that, I might take a payout of about $500, reset this balance to 2,000, right? Which is kind of what we've been doing anyway. So reset it to 2,000. And then once we reset it to 2,000, all of the other balances for the combines will be at zero. We get all of those above the buffer at 2,000. Then we get a $2,000 payout. Reset this one to $2,000 again. Now every account is on $2,000. Build it up to 4,000, and then you take a $2,000 payout again from each one, and that's a 10K payout. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, but I hope we can get there. But it doesn't matter how long it takes. We're just gonna continuously do the right things, continuously take a step back, look at what we're doing, and if we're doing it correctly, then we keep going. If we're not, we pause, we take a second, and we try again once we're ready. So, but yeah, guys, a lot of rambling for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Um, yeah, let me know how your week is going too. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. And yeah, keep trading stoically.